Hey there, it's Mr. Tush over at Global, and we're going to take a look at Open Ebooks. Open Ebooks is a free app available in the App Store and in Android. And as soon as I type it up, Open Ebooks provides you the opportunity to read tens of thousands of books through their Open Ebooks library. This is free to every Hartford Public School student. Once you open it up, you will also, from your teacher, get a login and a PIN. You'll get an account number and a PIN. So when you open it up, it's going to challenge you either to log in with FirstBook or Clever. Clever login is always your HBS login. That's your student number and your date of birth in 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day. You can use that, but I don't recommend it. I recommend you get a login from your teacher because your teacher will provide you with the login that you need for your grade. So I'm going to go to login with FirstBook, and I'm going to type in the login my teacher gave me. Now, teachers, if you're watching, these are actually the logins I got from the FirstBook folks. The other thing I'm going to note is that it is not case sensitive. What does that mean? Case sensitive means it would need to be capitalized according to the way it was put together, and in fact, it does not. B-W-A, thank you. So I can put it in any set of caps in lowercase, and then I'm going to put in the PIN. And of course, you're saying to yourself, John, why are you showing that PIN online? Because it's a one-time use. Once you log in using that PIN, that product is committed to your computer, to your device. This, by the way, only works on mobile devices, on Android phones, iPhones, on Android tablets, and on iPads. So once you're in, you get the catalog. Now, I gave the code for the catalogs for all 3 grades: early grades, middle grades, and high school. Once you're in here, this is the catalog. You can scroll through the top choices for each, and then each catalog has this thing called More. Once you get into More, you're going to see the catalog for the entire grade level by genre, and each one of those has subsections. So if I go over here to, let's find the one called Biography, and I'll go here to Biography, and I'll click More, and this is the full list of biographies. So my social studies teacher wants us to read about someone in the civil rights movement, so I'm going to click Autobiography of Martin Luther King. This says this book is available to borrow, so however many licenses they're limited to, I can borrow one of them. I'm going to click Get. What will happen is it will go to the database, it will request it, and it will download it. You find with the Open eBooks that the files are really low data. So these files are remarkably small, even with the illustrations, and they load quickly, and they don't use a lot of data. In order to read it, I click Read. That's really it. Here I am, first page, second page, etc. Now, of course, the other side of it is, I don't usually begin by reading, every single page at the beginning, complete with the forwards and everything else, editor's prefaces. So what do? Upper right-hand corner, you have this bulleted list, which is a bunch of dots and lines. If I tap on it, this is the table of contents for the entire book, and it is hyperlinked. So if I wanted to go back and learn something about his Boston University years where he did his PhD, I can go ahead and look here, and there's his Boston University years. And if I swipe to the left with my thumb or a finger, it will turn the pages. And that's kind of reading what he says. I can go back to the table of contents at any time. Then, the other thing to note is this thing called Settings. Now, Settings is cool because the settings will allow me to change the font for each section. Now, this is a sans serif font. I also have a Times New Roman, and they threw in kind of a fun one as well. I'm going to go with sans serif. Then the second row is my paper. So if I click the first one, I get white on black. That may be something I want to read. I also get black on tan, kind of a parchment look, and then white on black. Third row is font size. If I tap the smaller A, it makes the font smaller. It does have limits, but it does make the font smaller. If I tap the larger one, it makes it larger. Fourth row, I have a brightness control. In the lower left, it's disabled by my video software, but that allows me to have sections of the text read to me. Now, good for me. I have taken care of what I needed for social studies. Now I need to deal with my English teacher requirements. My English teacher is giving me some free choice, and I really like science fiction. So I'm going to go over to the science fiction section, and I'm going to find a second book, and I'm going to scroll through it. Of course, you're going to take more time than this, but in the meantime, I want to get James Patterson's books because everybody knows James Patterson's a popular author, so I'll go ahead and I'll download James Patterson. And here's what you'll notice. I just borrowed a second book. Just like when you go to the library, they might have limits, and this has limits, but you can take out more than one book. As you can see, I have two. Open Ebooks permits you up to 10 books per user, and you get 50-something days, I think it's 54 days, to hang on to the book. Plenty of time to read it. So you can go ahead and read The Dangerous Days of Daniel X by clicking read, and off you go. This works the same way. And you'll also see, by the way, that we go over to the table of contents. I get into chapter 1. There are no illustrations here, but if there are illustrations in the book, you will find out that the illustrations do import with the book as well. Now, last couple of things to note. One, I can go back to the catalog and do whatever I want with whatever catalogs are available to me as far as borrowing and returning books. Try to be conscientious because the Open eBooks library does, I believe, have limits to the number of licenses that it can lend out. It's a high number, but really, if you're only reading 3 or 4 books, you don't need to borrow 10. And then the second piece, and this is really important, is over an account where it has all your information, don't ever sign out. I mean, you can sign out, it won't break your machine. However, once you sign out, you're not going to be able to sign in again with those credentials. It's a one-time use piece, so be sure that if you sign out, that you go get a new credential from your teacher